All right, what is going on, guys? It is time for a special episode of the Chasing Waypoints podcast. So if you guys read the title, you know what is going on. We have the Dakar rally that is coming up. And, well, we have got some riders. We have some riders that we need to be chasing as we head into this year's 2024 Dakar. Well, this year's 2023, right? But the 2024 Dakar coming in hot. So we are going to be chasing some racers. Getting tongue-tied here. The coffee's wearing off. This isn't good. But we have got Mason Klein that is headed to Dakar, and he has got one heck of an effort behind him. So we're going to be spotlighting some of the companies that are supporting him and getting him to the Dakar rally. And today, well, we're going to talk about the most important part. Have you guys heard the episode with Willem Avenant? One of the most important parts about going to the Dakar rally is figuring out what bike you're going to ride. So today, if you guys already heard the episode, we have spoken already before with Gary Goodwin of Kove Moto USA. We're talking to him again today, getting some updates on what is happening with Mason and from the bike side and the bike effort side of it. So we'll be getting him on the phone here just shortly. Let's get things queued up. How's everybody doing? Are we ready? Are we ready for the Dakar? Drop the comments if you are listening on Spotify. So here's how it goes. If you're listening on Spotify, you can leave a Q&A. You can leave a show comment. You guys are already starting to do that. Greatly appreciated. I read all of them, and I take them to heart. So if you're on Spotify, tune in, listen on there, and then send us your questions, feedback. If you are on any of the other platforms, which honestly, most of the other platforms, Spotify is actually our smallest following. Little tidbit of information there. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon, iHeartRadio. We're all over the place. Well, get in contact with us. Feel free to hit the DM on Instagram, and we're more than happy to reply back. And let's see, what do you guys want to hear on the show? Let's figure this out. All right. Let's start turning down the party. And let's get Gary on the phone. There he is. Turn down the party a little bit more. Get that phone ringing.
Hey, Victor, how's it going?
Gary, doing well yourself?
Doing good.
Very nice. It sounds like you're on the road.
I am, yeah. I'm just on my way into the shop. I'll pull over here in a minute.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good. Good audio. Busy man. Eh? You got a lot going on.
It's been a lot of running around for sure, but I think we're making a little bit of headway, hopefully.
Yeah, I see Mason's been on the bike. He's testing the heck out of that thing.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we're excited. He should be heading over there. Gosh, when is he? He's heading over there pretty soon, I think.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting because I believe they moved it a few days because everybody used to take off like the day before, or the day after Christmas, and just to get over there and get their bearings straight. So I don't know what. I think they had moved it a little bit. So let's talk. This is so what we're doing. Obviously we're rallying around Mason. You guys
sure.
And Kove Moto is a big part of this. I mean, in talking to Willem Avenant, that was the first thing he said. He's like, if you're going to go to Dakar, you got to figure out the bike first because they're not as easy to come by. So Mason, and obviously with you guys with Kove, that's the big deal right now. And a lot of people talking. How's that relationship fostering? I mean, tell me, how did that even get started?
Yeah. I'm not exactly sure what transpired last year with Mason and Kove, but I do know that Zhang and some of the other, Zhang doesn't speak English, but Zhang and through his translators and stuff like that. And last year, I know they had some just, congratulatory and just conversations with Kove just a little bit last year at Dakar, so they kind of knew of him. And so I've spoke with the factory a little bit about it, and he had some time. I can't remember where it was at. Was it in Brazil? Yeah. Where he spent some time with the Kove Street, the race team, and really got close with some of those guys. And Jesus is the guy who runs the race team and for the road bike team, and he really liked kind of the time that he had with them, and then what was it, a month or 2 months ago when he started talking about going to Dakar again, and I saw that, and I'm not sure exactly how it all transpired. It kind of all just came about, but I was talking, I saw that, and I was talking with Kove, and at the same time trying to communicate with Mason, but for about a week, me and Mason hadn't been able to reach each other, and I guess during that same time, he had been kind of communicating with some of the guys at Kove. So it worked out really well, because I think everybody collectively saw that he wanted to get there, and really kind of tried to make it happen. And so that's a lot of credit on the guys in China at Kove, and then the little bit of communication I've had with Mason and his family, and it's awesome. It's really working out good. And nice. I think I was down there a week and a half ago with him just for a minute, dropping off the race bike so he could have something to sort of practice on. So he's practicing on Sunye's race bike. That was the only one we had here available. We had new bikes in the containers coming in, but they were at a customs exam. We finally just got those released the other day. But nice. So anyway, so he's been practicing on Sunye's race bike, and he's excited about it. He feels confident. There's a lot of things up in the air because he'll be racing the Gen 2 bike, the EX, which that motor hasn't been around as long. It hasn't done the rallies. I'm confident in the testing that they've been doing with it, but anything can happen in Dakar. So I hopefully it works out well, and regardless, hopefully he has a good experience with it, and the bike runs well and works well. And I know, me being selfish, regardless of what happens, it's still a bonus and a positive situation, even if he were to not, if he were to find some flaws in the bike or whatever. I mean, that's all positive movement as far as the brand going forward and that, but we certainly don't want him to go over there and have problems. So it's kind of nerve-wracking, but I'm super pumped and he's super pumped, and I think it's going to work out really well.
Nice. So that's, that's like you said, it is the Dakar. The Dakar is long enough to flush out, all the little details. This should have been definitely 10 Newton meters instead of 9. It will flush all of these things out. But something that's, as you're saying that, so he's on Sunye's race bike.
Yes, the one for Sonora last year, yeah.
Sonora last year. Where else has that bike raced? Is that one of the ones that went to the Dakar?
No, that one hasn't. That was one that was airshipped over here specifically for Sonora. And then we've just had it here, at the shop here in the States. And I've spent a little bit of time on it. It's had a few demos on it. It's had, and then just him. So that's, yeah. And then another one of the race bikes is the one that Mike Johnson rode there in Sonora and then took to Nora. That one's still down in Baja with Daniel Velasquez.
Got it. Nice. Yeah, I continue to be impressed by the amount of miles, like the collective miles that are being put on these bikes. And yeah, I work for a company that's under a microscope, much like I think Kove is under a microscope right now because, well, they're the new kid on the block. They're making the most noise because of the price point, because of the bike. It's an obtainable rally bike, and yet the collective miles that are being put on these bikes, they're proving their worth. Which is amazing. I mean, that's goes without say. So, like you, I mean, I'm excited to see how Mason does on the Gen 2 bike aside from the engine, are there any other things that you've been privy to, like that you can share about changes on the Gen 2 bike?
I mean, there's lots of little changes. The main thing is the engine for sure, but there's some small bodywork changes. Some of the things that they dealt with last year in Dakar and then Sonora were a fuel tank venting, beefing up the clutch a little bit. So there's a lot of little things that they've learned that's definitely gone into it.
Nice.
I so far I know of 6 guys that are on Koves that are riding in Sonora, including the team and then a couple other guys. But for the most part, I think most of the guys are riding the Gen 1 bikes. And that's partly just because the Gen 2 is so new and not out yet. So, yeah, they kind of wanted to mix that up a little bit in case there were problems with the Gen 2. At least they'd hopefully have some good finishing on the Gen 1 bikes. So.
On the Gen 1, which, I mean, it's already it's a known recipe. Aside from all of the miles that it's done here in North America, those bikes have already finished the Dakar. All 3 of them that raced. Yeah, definitely. So nice. So are you gonna head out to the Dakar? Are you gonna watch stateside? What's your game plan?
I wish I was heading over there, but I'm not. I checked into it kind of last minute, and it's just not it's just not possible at this time, but I'm going to try to make it over to the next one for sure.
Very nice. And so as far as, just to keep it quick, but with the new bikes, like you just mentioned, you just got a whole nother shipment of the rally bikes here stateside. Are we starting to see changes? Are there little things that are coming, on it?
I'm trying to think if there's any little changes on it. I don't really think there's any little changes on the pro models. They're basically the same. They haven't really seen any little changes on those
that they're doing. Nice. Well, that's good.
I mean, they did some stuff from last Dakar, but that's been kind of any of the changes that they have done. They started on those on some of the first shipments that we received in whenever that was, June or July this summer. So
yeah, I still, that's again another thing that's impressive to me is that like the willingness to work with with the feedback that they receive, and make changes quickly. I think that's the death of big corporations is it takes literally an act of Congress sometimes to to bring about change in there. And so the ones that end up paying for it are the end user.
Exactly.
And I mean, and again, I mean, I know you guys are under a microscope, and I'm happy to see that it's proven a lot of people wrong. That's the best part about it.
Yeah. Most of the models that are in the States now, I mean, I think I've only had like 10 of the pro models come through, and then we just got a shipment of 35 of them, I think. Nice. So most of the models that have come through have been the standard models. And there's a couple hundred of those now. And yeah, I mean, once they've been set up right, they've been really good. There's a couple little things that we do to them to, just make the fuel venting a little cleaner, a little less restrictive when they get in the hot conditions. That's when they were having problems with the fuel venting. And so we've done some things to correct that and, set those up correctly on the setup, and it's been working out really well.
Nice. Well, good. Yeah, I mean that I think is the big part of it. And I mean, there's going to be people. I mean, obviously, there's going to be a lot of traffic going back and forth. I'll put obviously as usual the links in the description. When somebody gets one of these bikes, like I know we talked, and as far as it coming in the crate, do you guys have like a list of things to go over, like to do the PDI, the pre-delivery inspection? What is that like? If somebody orders one of these bikes from you guys and it gets shipped to their door, what's kind of the expectation? Like, what do you see, crate wise, some of the things they need to do to it?
Yeah. So we're trying to work it out, so that it's simple and easy for the end user. There's a couple different ways. One we'll ship them through dealers and they'll set them up that way. And then the other one is we're establishing some different service centers where they can be shipped to a service center and set up with a guy who's, been instructed and knows how to do it and stuff like that. If it's where there's not a service center or a dealer in the area, then we can set them up here and test them and then ship them completely ready to go, basically, or we can ship them to the customer. If they're, somewhat knowledgeable on bike setup and things like that, then we can help them kind of, like you said, the PDI and give them the instructions on how to set it up. And then we have our guys here on staff that are available, phone call and everything that way. But yeah, we don't want to send a race bike or a standard bike, even for that matter, just to somebody who's really not very able to set them up. It's kind of creates liabilities and problems that way. So we try to make sure that they're, qualified and set up and able to do it that way.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. It sounds to the uninitiated, that may sound like a bad thing. Like, oh, well, I should be able to buy. Well, yeah, except I've seen back in my BMW days, I've seen bikes show up where the axle on the rear was 3 or 4 millimeters off. The guy's telling me about how the brakes locked up twice on him on the way, to San Diego. And
right.
I'm like, what you think is common knowledge, is like some people are more confident than they are knowledgeable.
It is. It's really interesting. I mean, you have guys who have been working on bikes their whole life, but they can't quite figure out how to center the front wheel in the axle, stuff like that. And so there's a lot of little details that you think people understand and can do, but it's a little bit more.
Yeah, a little more entailed. So, I mean, I guess then the ideal situation is, okay, interested in the bike, over to the website, get it ordered if you don't have a local dealer, but maybe reach out to one of your local shops and maybe they can, they're willing to take it in and do the PDI and then maybe get in contact with you about that. That would be the ideal route.
Yeah, definitely. If there's somebody that's interested and they're not comfortable setting it up, we're more than happy to work with whoever their local shop is, and we can coordinate the setup fees and things like that, and try to make it as seamless as possible.
Nice. Yeah, I really think that's awesome because it's a different way of purchasing a bike, and I think that it works will work really, really well. And
yeah. So. Yeah, I don't know how it is where you're at, but there's a lot of big shops, franchise type shops that have really bought up a lot of the mom and pop shops now. And sometimes those big franchise dealers, they want to treat it like a car lot and tack on all sorts of extra fees and different things. And there's a lot of consumers out there that are tired of that, I think. And so, it is a little different way of doing business, especially in the motorcycle world, but we're going to go for that and see if, we want to support the local dealers who want to be involved in it. But, if there's not a local dealer, then we definitely want to be able to get the bikes to the consumers and work through service centers and their favorite local shops. So.
Hey guys, what's going on? This is Victor with the Chasing Waypoints podcast. Hey, super quick. We have got some news for you guys. So Mira Activewear, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the brand. You should be. You've seen their handiwork if you've seen pictures of Happy Dave and a few of our other riders here in the States, but also in the Dakar Rally, a lot of the top pros wearing their windbreakers, custom-made rally suits and things like that. They have been phenomenal. They are a very, very high-quality product, awesome printing, design team, everything. But the reason we're interrupting this episode is they have got a fundraiser and promotional raffle going on right now between now and February. You want to get on over there. So you can purchase a limited edition Mira bandana set. So 3 special designs. That will get you entered into the contest for a grand prize of a full rally suit. So check out all the rules and limitations, all that fun, all that jargon. Get on over to the website. Link is in the description. And let's get back to the episode. Yeah. No, that's to me that's huge. I mean, the shop that I worked for was a mom and pop. It was a small small shop, and exactly like what you're saying. My parents formerly had an auto parts business. Same thing. It was an independent. It wasn't like one of these big franchises. And yeah, it's interesting. It gets really difficult to compete with these big box stores, but then they go start doing that kind of stuff where, you know, it's like, well, yeah, you know, that front fender's got a special mud coating on it. You know, it's like $600, but you know, it won't fade in 50 years. So, you know, they just start coming up with all this crap that it's like, dude, it's not even, you know, and at the end of the day, people, the end user, I don't think see that as, oh, this is a dealership level thing. This might be a manufacturer level type thing, or worse yet, the dealership blames it on the manufacturer, and then, you know, it's all negatives from there.
Yeah, it gets pretty convoluted sometimes. I bought a bike a couple years ago, brand new street bike from a big franchise dealer, and they wanted to sell me on a $400 battery package that gives me battery service or whatever for life. And I'm like, no, I don't want that. And they're like, well, we do that on every bike. And they pretty much insisted that I buy it. But in the end, I said, I'm walking away and I'm not buying it. Yeah. Otherwise, I'll, you know, yeah, sometimes they get kind of aggressive that way. And
yeah, I love the line when they say, well, it's because we're under contract. You know, we have a contract where we have to sell this with every, you know, in this case that I'm talking about was with a vehicle. And I remember turning and this was all, you know, via the phone. I said, okay, I need you to go to your, you know, your manager, and I need you to let them know that contract literally just cost them the the sale. So
the sale.
Yeah, it was not a good thing here. We got another. There we go. Yeah. So yeah, it just, yeah. So I agree with what you're doing. I like that stuff. You know, I think that it gives a solid bike into the consumer's hand at a very, very cost effective price, and then they can go out and ride the thing. You know, it's you guys beat it. We're beating a lot of people.
And you know, part of it too is that, you know, when the first, it's originally just the Kove Rally 450, and as they have more models that come out and things like that, you know, I'm sure there'll be more opportunities for dealers to have more product. But part of it too is that, you know, we're only really like 3 models right now, the Kove brand, as far as what's available. You know, you got the race model, the standard model, and then the motocross 250. But as the next year goes on, there'll be more models coming available, and then it makes more sense for dealers to have a full line of them in the shop and stuff like that. But yeah.
So in kind of in closing, and since we're on the topic of rally, so how soon are we going to see that twin rally?
Oh man, I'm pushing for that one. I've probably driving the guys nuts on that one, because that's one I'm pretty excited about myself. I am hopeful to have the first demos before the AIM Expo. We're going to try to get some demos here before the AIM Expo and take them to that. So
nice.
And then that's one that will be a similar type situation where, like with the Rally 450, we'll import them probably for the first 6 months or a year as off-road models, while the bikes are in testing. And so I'm hopeful to have some off-road models of those this summer, and then, you know, hopefully certified street legal models maybe by fall of this year. So
yeah, I feel like that. I mean, I don't know the whole process, but I feel like once you get one bike through the whole process, I feel like that just kind of like snowballs. It's like, oh, okay, it's this brand again.
Yeah, hopefully so. I mean, it's like right now, you know, on the 450, they've got the Euro certification, and our testing was done the same time the Euro testing was done. It's just waiting on paperwork for the government to pass it all through. And, you know, the testing got done kind of just a little before Thanksgiving, to my knowledge, which, you know, that kind of Thanksgiving and Christmas and the holidays, who knows how much the government's working on getting EPA certification done for a small little motorcycle manufacturer, you know. So
yeah, I think they're starting to worry.
In January, February.
Yeah. I'm I think they're starting to worry about who's getting reelected.
It's gonna, yeah.
It's there's our government. But I mean the bikes. I mean the cool part is that it, the bike as it shows up. You have they have turn signals, right? They have they already have some of the equipment already on it. It's not like it's a foreign. Like, okay, now we got to figure out how to adapt this.
Yeah, I mean the standard model is very, very close to what the certified street model will be. There's a few little differences that they've got to choke down the airbox a little bit to make the intake noise a little bit quieter, and it'll be one of those things where people buy a standard model, and then I'm sure there'll be different aftermarket companies or using the OEM airbox systems and stuff like that to kind of get it back up to what it. Maybe I shouldn't even say that. I'll probably get in trouble for saying that. But
well, I mean, if it's an off-highway vehicle that is going to be for racing purposes, then that's there's availability of parts for competition models.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so
yeah, nice.
Yeah, the street models will be certified street, and the off-road models will be certified off-road. So
yeah. There you go. And problem solved and time to go racing. Now I want to know, I saw there was some shots fired across over in the Baja, the Pro Moto Baja group about rally class or opening it up to kind of like an adventure type bike class. I think that's, I think that would be pretty hot. It would be nice to see a bunch of 450s down there.
Yeah, so Andy Kirker's kind of been pushing for that, and Daniel Velasquez has talked to him about it as well. But it seems like there's some decent interest that way. Andy has talked to the guys at Score, and I think right now, as it is, they want to do that. They want to have it'll be kind of called a Kove rally class, but it's not just specific to Kove bikes. They're in the stages of putting together kind of what the bike qualifier looks like. It'll be something like it's a rally class that, trying to determine what the rule that qualifies that as a rally bike, because it's not going to be specifically like road book type event. It'll just be the rally bike. So something that in one of the rules, I think will be like that it has to carry 7.5 gallons of fuel or have the rally type bodywork or something like that. So they're trying to put together the kind of the rules on what qualifies as that. But yeah, I think that can be a good thing for a lot of people who, whether they have a pro bike with the road book or a standard bike or, whatever, they want to race there in that class. I think it's good.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that would be, I would love to, oh man, this would be rad. I know we're going a little longer, but Baja 1000 and the Mexican 1000, and then something like maybe either Vegas to Reno if they still are gonna do that. Pick 3 long, not rally events, right? I'm partial to rally, but not rally events, but long distance point to point events where it's better suited for a rally type bike. Like San Felipe is going to be really tough on trying to do that on a 450. You got that windshield and you got 70 miles of whoops just to get warmed up. But Baja 1000s, those long races, you got a lot of long open roads. That would be rad to put like a Triple Crown type event, points, that kind of thing. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
So sweet. Well, cool. Well, I'm going to let you go. We got a few more. We're going to do our multiple episodes. Obviously you guys with supporting Kove, supporting Mason on the effort. Getting him the bike, and he's not taking it easy on that bike. I don't know if I'm ratting him out by saying that, but he, obviously he can ride, and he's putting the bike through his paces, and that's awesome. It just gets more exciting seeing that, that he's really going to push this bike, and we're hoping, that he can get the same results he did last year on this bike, and make the Austrians worry a little more.
Yeah, I just hope he has a good time and it works well, and he can get through it. Last year, what was he had a wrist or a hand injury or something like that, or no, he knocked his head pretty good. I guess he was a little bit silly. Yeah. So hopefully everything goes well. Doesn't have any problems that way, and then after Dakar, I'll go down and get that bike back and go hang it on the wall or something like that, you know.
Nice. That would be awesome. Yeah, I think that's always cool. I've seen the ones, I've seen posts like from Johnny Campbell Racing, you know, that there's like Baja 1000, 1998, you know, winner, like there's bikes that have a history behind them, and that's how they sit. You know, to me, that's just awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. You know, Sunye coming over here to Mexico the first time ever and racing foreign in Mexico on the Sonora. I mean, it's the same bike. It's cool to see some of the history and things that are happening, you know, with Kove, and he's a passionate dude. They're a passionate company, and I'm passionate about it. And I think the guys that are in rally are obviously passionate about it. So we're pretty excited. Hopefully things go well.
Yeah, absolutely. They will. I think it's going to be an awesome Dakar. They got a lot of surprises for the guys with new stage types and things like that. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah. Are you going over? Or?
I wish, but actually for a while I was wishing there was a chance after talking to the guys with the ASO or working with them in Sonora, but didn't get the call. But that also opened it up to be able to attend Coast to Coast Rally, Battleborn Rally, to be able to do more events here stateside, which, you know, I actually think I like more, because I would rather see Rally grow, you know, here. The Dakar on the resume would look good, but, you know, for what? There's events here that need support. There's things that are going on here that we could see it grow and just be that much better. I mean, not gonna lie, I think that here in North America, we do off-road racing better than anywhere else in the world.
Sure.
You know, it's been around for so long, the deserts and stuff like that. It's rougher than what a lot of other countries see as far as rally goes, you know, other than like things like Erzberg Rodeo and some of that hard enduro stuff. So I think we can take, you know, what gets done there and broaden it into the rally and bring more rally into it and continue to grow the sport. You know, I've talked to a lot of guys that are interested in making the transition, you know, from off-road score sprint type racing over to rally. So we'll keep it going. But awesome, sir.
Sounds good. Well, I appreciate you having me on, and
of course
we'll try and see you at some of the events coming up. Hopefully.
Oh, yeah. That's the plan. Are you guys sending anybody to Coast? Do you know anybody? I'm sure there'll be probably a few Koves down there.
You know, I got to get my head wrapped around all that and figure it out and see. I know Mike Johnson's talked about going down there. I know he's headed to Dakar. He's all over the place. Not Mike Johnson. Mike, what's his last name?
Georgeson.
Montana Mike.
Mike, yeah.
I think he's headed over with Mason, so that'll be cool.
Yeah. We're gonna be bugging him. we're getting our updates from him.
You better send any little updates. We need it all.
Yeah,
I'm sure there'll be a lot going around.
Yeah. Did you hear that, Mike? You're listening. When you listen to this, expect your phone to be going off.
Yeah.
Awesome, excellent, sir. Well, it's Friday, so I hope you finish out the week good, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks. All right. You too. See you. Bye. All right, so there you have it, Gary Goodwin. It is the plan. That is what is happening. Mason Klein going to the Dakar, going to be riding a Kove Gen 2 bike. So you guys hear it. I'm going to drop it. You guys are going to hear this a lot over the course of the week. We're actually we're recording this on a Friday. Tomorrow, Saturday, we're going to have a huge episode recording. It'll be its own. We're going to be talking with none other than Mason, his mom Lisa, and dad Larry. Maybe even Carter will be in on that one. I don't know. We'll see. But we're going to be talking about the rally and the effort that is going on. You guys are going to be hearing this episode again. We're going to be doing a lot of little bonus episodes, so make sure you're staying tuned and getting subscribed and putting the word out there. We're looking to help Mason Klein. We're looking to help all of our U.S. riders that are going, but we're going to really work on having some stories and bringing you guys some details. So if you're hearing this episode, you have questions that you want answered about the rally world, some of the things that we may not know or think of, you know, drop us a line, hit us in the DM, drop the questions in the Q&A if you're listening on Spotify. Let's get this conversation going. Stay tuned for all of the updates and who we're going to be talking to. Going to try and sprinkle in some technical stuff as well. See if we can get a hold of some of these guys behind it. Like I know AHM is working with Mason on the suspension. That's one avenue. Let's see who we can talk to. Maybe we'll get Taco Mike on here talking a little bit about the 500s and what he does. He's got a lot of insight. Does a lot of tuning. If you guys haven't heard his Taco Moto, and finding out a little bit more about what it takes to build a bike for longevity and rally raid. He builds a lot of Baja race bikes. Baja, I think, is a very tough proving ground as far as durability goes, and as far as just wringing these things neck. So a bike that's built for that is a bike that could work very well for rally, just by adding some fuel. So maybe we'll see about that. We're going to be looking, we'll be looking. Who do you guys want to hear on the show? Drop us a line, let us know. But in the meantime, it'll make sense when you get there. Enjoy the ride. All right, that is a wrap for the Chasing Waypoints podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Looking forward to our next one coming up. Remember, if you are out riding, do not forget to tag us at Chasing Waypoints. Hashtag Chasing Waypoints. And if you haven't already, get on over to the website. Get signed up for the newsletter, The Bivouac. North America's rally raid and adventure riding newsletter. Hey, let's have some fun. Let's find out what are you guys up to. Let's get you featured. If you're a brand and looking to get supported, get some eyeballs, get some ears on your business, absolutely hit us up. Send us a message at podcast at Chasing Waypoints. But anyway, that is a wrap. Remember, shiny side up. See you guys.